Hey, it's day 3 of the Honduras trip. And like I said, I was being very intentional about doing these video diaries after each day because all the days melt together. It's just so much going on. And what's funny is, even within the day, it melts together. I have to actually stop and think about everything that went on that day before I even do this. So it's really late, and we didn't get back to the hotel this time until like 9. We went to dinner after clinic, but let me just go ahead and dive into it because today was day 1 of clinic. So of course we got here Saturday. I told you guys that we had to get on a bus and drive a little over 2 hours to a little town called Choluteca in South Honduras, and then it takes like 2 days approximately to get all the meds together, break them down into smaller units and bags so that we can give them out to the community when we do these clinics. And we have 3 days of clinics where they're basically like pop up clinics. And so today was day 1 of our pop up clinic, and the location was a new one. We hadn't gone to this one before. So they said, be at the bus at 7:30 in the morning. Already have your breakfast and everything done with. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually got a to-go box because I slept in a little bit because I was a little tired. But we got on the bus by 7:30, and our first destination was to go back to the place where we packed all the meds, the children's center, and load them up on one of the buses, the school bus. And then we followed behind in our smaller bus. I think one of my videos actually shows us we're kind of like packed in there like sardines. It's um, quite entertaining. But anyways, we got on the smaller bus and followed the school bus out to the location. And they said, they were like, well, this location is going to take us a little over an hour to get to. And it's at a school. We're thinking of elementary school that takes a little over an hour to get to. And they're like, and we won't be able to drive up to the school. You have to walk the rest of the way. And we're like, what elementary school is just all off the beaten path and you got to walk to it and can't get a bus to it? But anyways, we got to see what that meant. And so we finally got there. On our way there, though, we stopped because one of the people with us is a pastor at a church, and his church actually donated money to build a well or dig a well for that community. And so we actually got to stop and see the well. It's pretty cool. They said it goes down like, they say 300 feet. It was something crazy. I could be lying. 30 or 300. Can't remember. But I just remember thinking like, whoa, that's pretty crazy. And they showed us how the pump worked and the water came out and everything. And so the town was like really grateful. A lot of them were there. So we got to see that. And then we kept going. Finally made it to where our clinic is. And when I say like the road was not really a road, it was not really a road. Like we were tossing about everywhere. And then we had to get out and walk the rest of the way up to the school. Here's what happened that this has never happened before. So as we're approaching the school, we all had our like equipment. We had people helping carry all the meds and everything else up the hill. And then when we finally got to the top, we heard a bunch of clapping, and it was all the people that we were going to see today. In that village, they were already there and they were waiting for us, and they were clapping as we were walking through. I know in my mind, the first thing is like, yo, listen, um, I know it sounds bad, but don't clap. Don't clap for me. I am here because I want to be here. I'm here because, the life that I've been blessed with, I have to give some of it back. You know what I mean? To somebody. And if anything, clap for God. That's just how I felt. And I'm pretty sure that that's really what it meant too. But they were also appreciative. Um, but yeah, a lot of us were just very taken aback by that. Like, but we went straight to it, and they had like I said, it was like a elementary school, and they had 3 buildings. Two of the rooms were connected. So I say 3 buildings, but it was like two, and then 2 rooms in one building, and then the other one had another room. So we just basically divided it up to where one room was gonna be like the room after they got seen. We had a bunch of stuff and like food baskets and toothbrushes and toothpaste and even toys for the kids. That was that room. So that was like after the fact. And then they had the triage nurse room and the provider room. So it was the 3 triage nurses that are here on this mission, myself and 2 other young ladies, and then the providers. There were 5 providers. So this time we were outnumbered. And so then right outside that building, we had some people helping to take blood pressure and temperature. So that was the flow. They took blood pressure and temperature, then they brought them into our room. The triage nurses saw those patients. We got all the information, symptoms, things like that, HPI. And then if they needed certain tests, because just based off of the things that we had asked them, if they said certain things, we're like, I think I need to order a urine test or a pregnancy test or whatever test, right? So we had our little point of care things on our tables, and we were able to do those tests right there on the spot. And then we would send them to the provider. Provider would then ask more questions, diagnose, prescribe meds, and then boom, the other room was pharmacy. So we had to set up a whole pharmacy. So the most intriguing thing I find about these clinics that we set up is it's like when you walk into the space, there's nothing. It's like really nothing. And you're almost like, how are we going to turn this into a clinic? But we always do it. And it looks like a real clinic. It's crazy. We did. So the vision that we have when we walk into these spaces, it's just amazing. I think it's cool. And so the last part was the pharmacy. And then, like I said, they go to the other room where we had all the other extra stuff. And so it was flowing. And I remember just looking out at the line, and I'm like, this is going to be one of our biggest clinic days ever. Because like I'm seeing all these people. And I told someone, I said, my guess is 200. I was close. We saw 191 patients today. Yes. So today went very well. And I just really love the opportunity to do this. I do. And sometimes you're like kind of feeling a little anxious, like, what is this going to look like? And where are we going to, are we going to hit some, bumps? And yeah, you're always going to. But first of all, that's just healthcare, period. But second of all, it's just beauty in it all, because it's just people helping people. And they think that it's us helping them, but they're helping us too. Sometimes, you come to missions like these or places like these and just reminds you how blessed you are and how many things we take for granted that other people would just absolutely love to have as a part of their life. And so they think that we're helping them. They really help us. So during our lunch break, I did get to go and see the little girl. So last year, I'll brief you guys, because this is now on my YouTube channel. But last year, we met a little girl that was part of the Children's Center, where a lot of the money goes to from World Help. And she has hydrocephalus, or had it since she was born, of course. And at the time, she was 8 years old. And, her limbs and everything are contractured. Can't walk, right? So her whole life, her mother has just carried her. And she's not light. And so I remember meeting her last year and being like, do you have, a special chair? Because in America, I mean, these are just, it's normal for a kid that has that condition with all those contractures, can't walk, to go into a hospital and receive some type of mobility chair or something. She had nothing. And so I raised money while I was still there in Honduras last year, and raised enough to get the chair. It was like $1,100, $1,300, something like that, with shipping and everything in between. And we bought that chair. And so she received the chair, was it like last December or January? I know it took a little minute to get it to her, but she finally got it. They sent video and pictures, and we're like, this is awesome. So I actually got to go see her again during my lunch break in clinic. It was like a 15 or 20-minute drive to her. They're like, it's okay, we'll bring you right back. So I got to take a picture with her and see her, and she's doing great. And they also were the recipients of one of the houses where people sponsor and have those houses built for like $12,500. So that house was done completely. So we got to see the house too. So the chair is rolling in this new house, and life is good for them. And I'd love to see that. I do have a new fundraising agenda that has popped up in my head that I saw a need for on day, what was that, day 1 or Sunday? Was it Sunday or Monday? See, I told you the days melt together, which is why I'm purposely doing this every day. But one of those days, we went to the hospital, and there's a great need in that hospital for so much. That's on my list. Okay, but anyways, we went back. I went back to clinic. They took me back, and we finished up. And like I said, over 191 patients. We did a rough count. It could be more, but that's what they said. And as we were wrapping it up, of course, triage nurses, we finished first because everybody comes to us first, and then goes to providers. They were done next. So we started cleaning up everything and packing up the clinic in that area. And then we're like, okay, let's go see what pharmacy's doing. If they're almost done, they were backed up. So everybody's like pitching in to help. By this time, it's dark. And the room that the makeshift pharmacy was in, it wasn't big. It was pretty small on the roof and everything. And I was standing there, and all of a sudden I hear squeak, squeak, and I'm like, what is that? And it's pretty dark. We got one little light in the center of this room, and it's squeak, squeak, and I'm like, that sounds like a bat. And then I look up, and there's bats. Okay, I didn't know I do bats, but apparently I do bats. So we all had to like take out our flashlights, our cell phone lights, and just shine them on the table so that the pharmacy could finish up writing everything, filling the scripts. And that took place for like 30 minutes. All of us with just flashlights and cell phone lights, shining it on to help them finish. Teamwork makes the dream work. But it's just crazy because I'm standing literally in like, it looks like a little bit like a barn. We got a makeshift pharmacy, and there's bats squeaking above my head, multiple bats. I don't think I've ever been just in a room with bats. And then now it's dark, and they need to see, and we're all got our cell phone lights shining and everything. Yeah, you had to be there. So yeah, that was today. That was a clinic today. And a lot of the patients, they just walked up to us even after the fact, and they just said, thank you so much. One lady, I had helped her and her 2 kids, and I thought she was long gone, and she came and found me, and she just wanted to shake my hand. That feels like, to know that like that made a difference for them is a feeling that just you can't buy. It's really awesome. It really is. And so I was kind of proud of myself. Last year, I would say my Spanish, I was like at 25-30%. And this year I'm like, okay, Christian, you gotta do better. So I didn't, do everything I wanted to do, and I wanted to be at 100% by the time we came back this time. But I was about at 50%. So I'm like at 50% right now with my Spanish. And they provide translators, but sometimes, someone might be without one. Some of us are bilingual already or partially bilingual, right? But it was kind of like, okay, this provider needs one, this provider. And I was just sitting there, and I was like, you know what? I'm all right. I'll make it. I got this. Y'all go ahead, whatever. And I made it. I made it the whole day without one. I got something a couple times where I was like, yeah, I really forgot this word. Como se dice, but outside of that, I made it. So it was cool. I was like, okay. But yeah, so that was today. Although technically it was day 3, it was day 1 of clinic. We have 2 more clinic days. I'm looking over at this floor because it looked like something wrong. We have 2 more clinic days, Wednesday and Thursday. And then Friday, we just kind of wrap things up, get our suitcases back, because we use our suitcases to actually go to these clinics to put beds and things into them. But Friday, we wrap things up. And then they drive us back to Comayagua, where we're going to spend the night and then catch our planes early the next day, Saturday morning. Some of us Saturday afternoon. I think actually mine might be afternoon. But that's how the flow goes. But we have 2 more clinic days, and we've already seen 191 patients. So I think we're going to break our record of last year, which was 510, which is pretty cool. All right, so that was day 3, which was clinic day 1, and I will update you guys tomorrow.